The objective of the labor inspection is to further strengthen the implementation of the visitorial and enforcement powers under the Labor Code as renumbered, towards securing a higher level of compliance with labor laws and standards and ensuring continuity and sustainability of compliance at workplaces. For this purpose, the Department of Labor and Employment delegates this function to the regional offices with the issuance of a list of labor inspectors who are given the authority of conduct inspection, which covers all private establishments, including their branches and workplaces in the regions. The regional offices, through the labor inspectors, enforce labor laws and social legislation through the conduct of routine inspection, complaint inspection, and occupational safety and health investigation. Upon the discretion of the Secretary, special inspections may be conducted as may be deemed necessary. With the provision for mobile devices and gadgets, the DOLE developed an inspection management information system. An important feature of the system is data capture and transmittal from the field in real time, as an electronic checklist is filled up through the use of mobile devices and gadgets. Data are instantly available for viewing and processing to generate reports, statistics, and summons, including real-time monitoring of decent work indicators based on the country's decent work profile. The TAV, or Technical and Advisory Visit, aims to provide assistance to the micro-establishments, or establishments that have 1 to 9 employees, to be sustainable, productive, and competitive. It also aims to transition our micro-establishments to the formal economy that is profitable, while also complying with our labor laws and occupational safety and health standards. There are different ways or modalities to avail TAV. First is the online method. Establishments can enroll in the self-paced technical and advisory modules through our learning management system. For establishments that opted to go with online, they must accomplish the modules within 1 month from the time they registered. Second is on-site. The DOLE regional, field, and provincial offices conduct on-site or face-to-face orientation for the technical and advisory services, wherein micro-establishments are invited to attend. Third is hybrid setup. Establishments can enroll in on-site sessions and attend virtual meetings or webinars using various online platforms like MS Teams, Viber, Skype, Zoom, or Google Meet. The establishment report system was created to streamline the documents and reports required from establishments in the private sector. Several administrative requirements will be submitted through this site as a central platform. Through this system, employers no longer need to physically submit establishment reports to DOLE, since reportorial requirements can be completed remotely through the ERS. There are various types of report that can be submitted through the establishment report system. These are telecommuting report, job displacement report, flexible work, 13th month report, employer's work accident or illness report, and request for safety seal. The establishment report system ensures the safety of employees of Dole and its clients by minimizing the risk of contracting the COVID-19 since the need for physical contact has been removed in this process. The objective of the labor inspection is to further strengthen the implementation of the visitorial and enforcement powers under the Labor Code as renumbered towards securing a higher level of compliance with labor laws and standards and ensuring continuity and sustainability of compliance at workplaces. For this purpose, the Department of Labor and Employment delegates this function to the regional offices with the issuance of a list of labor inspectors who are given the authority of conduct inspection, which covers all private establishments, including their branches and workplaces in the regions. The regional offices, through the labor inspectors, enforce labor laws and social legislation through the conduct of routine inspection, complaint inspection, and occupational safety and health investigation. Upon the discretion of the Secretary, special inspections may be conducted as may be deemed necessary. With the provision for mobile devices and gadgets, the DOLE developed an inspection management information system. An important feature of the system is data capture and transmittal from the field in real time, as an electronic checklist is filled up through the use of mobile devices and gadgets. Data are instantly available for viewing and processing to generate reports, statistics, and summons, including real-time monitoring of decent work indicators based on the country's decent work profile. The TAV, or Technical and Advisory Visit, aims to provide assistance to the micro-establishments, or establishments that have 1 to 9 employees, to be sustainable, productive, and competitive. It also aims to transition our micro-establishments to the formal economy that is profitable, while also complying with our labor laws and occupational safety and health standards. There are different ways or modalities to avail TAV. First is the online method. Establishments can enroll in the self-paced technical and advisory modules through our learning management system. For establishments that opted to go with online, they must accomplish the modules within 1 month from the time they registered. Second is on-site. The DOLE regional, field, and provincial offices conduct on-site or face-to-face orientation for the technical and advisory services, wherein micro-establishments are invited to attend. Third is hybrid setup. Establishments can enroll in on-site sessions and attend virtual meetings or webinars using various online platforms like MS Teams, Viber, Skype, Zoom, or Google Meet. The establishment report system was created to streamline the documents and reports required from establishments in the private sector. Several administrative requirements will be submitted through this site as a central platform. Through this system, employers no longer need to physically submit establishment reports to DOLE since reportorial requirements can be completed remotely through the ERS. There are various types of report that can be submitted through the establishment report system. These are telecommuting report, job displacement report, flexible work, 13th month report, employer's work accident or illness report, and request for safety seal. The establishment report system ensures the safety of employees of DOLE and its clients by minimizing the risk of contracting the COVID-19 since the need for physical contact has been removed in this process. The objective of the labor inspection is to further strengthen the implementation of the visitorial and enforcement powers under the Labor Code as renumbered towards securing a higher level of compliance with labor laws and standards and ensuring continuity and sustainability of compliance at workplaces. For this purpose, the Department of Labor and Employment delegates this function to the regional offices with the issuance of a list of labor inspectors who are given the authority of conduct inspection, which covers all private establishments, including their branches and workplaces in the regions. The regional offices, through the labor inspectors, enforce labor laws and social legislation through the conduct of routine inspection, complaint inspection, and occupational safety and health investigation. Upon the discretion of the Secretary, special inspections may be conducted as may be deemed necessary. With the provision for mobile devices and gadgets, the DOLE developed an inspection management information system. An important feature of the system is data capture and transmittal from the field in real time, as an electronic checklist is filled up through the use of mobile devices and gadgets. Data are instantly available for viewing and processing to generate reports, statistics, and summons, including real-time monitoring of decent work indicators based on the country's decent work profile. The TAV, or Technical and Advisory Visit, aims to provide assistance to the micro-establishments, or establishments that have 1 to 9 employees, to be sustainable, productive, and competitive. It also aims to transition our micro-establishments to the formal economy that is profitable, while also complying with our labor laws and occupational safety and health standards. There are different ways or modalities to avail TAV. First is the online method. Establishments can enroll in the self-paced technical and advisory modules through our learning management system. For establishments that opted to go with online, They must accomplish the modules within 1 month from the time they registered. Second is on-site. The DOLE regional, field, and provincial offices conduct on-site or face-to-face orientation for the technical and advisory services, wherein micro-establishments are invited to attend. Third is hybrid setup. Establishments can enroll in on-site sessions and attend virtual meetings or webinars using various online platforms like MS Teams, Viber, Skype, Zoom, or Google Meet. The establishment report system was created to streamline the documents and reports required from establishments in the private sector. Several administrative requirements will be submitted through this site as a central platform. Through this system, employers no longer need to physically submit establishment reports to DOLE since reportorial requirements can be completed remotely through the ERS. There are various types of report that can be submitted through the establishment report system. These are telecommuting report, job displacement report, flexible work, 13th month report, employer's work accident or illness report, and request for safety seal. The establishment report system ensures the safety of employees of DOLE and its clients by minimizing the risk of contracting the COVID-19 since the need for physical contact has been removed in this process.
Hey, good afternoon to everyone. Sa lahat po ng mga nakikinig ngayon sa ating pong ika-14 na episode ng ating Webinar Wednesdays. So ngayong hapon, magkakaroon na naman tayo ng pagkakataon na matutunan ng mga bagay tungkol sa occupational safety and health at tungkol sa general labor standards na may kinalaman sa pook paggawa. Ito po ay isa sa mga dapat nating matutunan at dapat nating maisapuso kumbaga ano po. So tayo po ay napapanood ngayon sa ating pong BWC Facebook page. So tinitingnan ko po yung ating pong mga comments. So shout out po sa taga St. Paul Hospital Tugigaraw. Opo, good afternoon po sa inyo. Kanina pa po pumapasok ang inyong pong comments and we are taking note of them. So sa ating pong sa hapon pong ito, mayroon po tayong panauhin na galing po sa UP College of Public Health. Ano po, pero mamaya ko po i-introduce siya sa inyo. Bago po ang ating pong pinaka-main na program ngayong hapon, magkaroon po muna tayo ng konting pagdasal. Starting po. Okay po, so habang iniintay po natin na makapag-start po yun, meron lang pong mga konting paalala ano po, dun po sa mga magkakaroon po ng tanong regarding po sa ating pong magiging episode ngayong hapon, mag-comment lang po kayo sa ating pong Facebook page. Tapos kami po ay mag-pick up ng mga questions mula dun para po ating po siyang itanong sa ating expert na magtasalita ngayong.
Let us bow our head and put ourselves in the holiness of God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Dear Almighty and ever-loving God, we glorify and thank your name. You have showered us with so much blessings, and your presence continuously remind us of your faithfulness and guidance. May we humbly ask you to shower our speaker today of your greatest inspiration, so that he may share the most of his knowledge, his field of expertise, and to his respective topics. May we also absorb the invaluable knowledge, experiences, and put it into practice that we may learn today. Your infinite blessing would mean the success of this webinar. May we be a living witnesses of your genuine love through the enactment of the knowledge acquired through this activity. We ask this in the name of your Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Amen.
Okay, so dahil tayo po ay nabasbasa na nitong sa ating pong afternoon activity. Mayroon na po akong bigyan niyo po ako ng pagkakataon ngayon na ma-introduce ko po ang ating pong guest speaker for this afternoon. So, ang guest speaker po natin ngayong hapon ay nag-serve po as a director of the Health University Office at currently siya po ay chair ng Health and Safety Committee of the University of the Philippines, Manila. Siya po ay isang associate professor of the Department of Environmental and Occupational Health, College of Public Health, UP Manila, since 2012 pa po. And he has served the college in various roles, being chair of both the Department of Environmental and Occupational Health and the Master of Occupational Health Program Committee in 2017, 2019 to 2022, and is the Assistant Dean for Planning and Development in 2015 to 2016. In 2018, he worked as a project assistant professor of the Department of Global Health Sciences of the University of Ryukyus, Okinawa, Japan. He continues to attend conferences, seminars, and trainings on occupational health, industrial hygiene, emergency and disaster management, biosafety and biosecurity, research ethics, and health leadership and governance. Siya po ay involved sa pag-offer na academic and training courses on occupational health ng environmental health and public health in UP Manila po. So, his recent research projects are on workplace tuberculosis program, dengue prevention in schools, and healthy universities. He also provides technical assistance to the institutions such as the Department of Health, sa amin po sa Department of Labor and Employment, sa Civil Service Commission, Commission on Higher Education, and the World Health Organization, Western Pacific Regional Office. This year, he was designated as the Director of the Health University Office and the Chair of the Health and Safety Committee of the University of the Philippines, Manila. He took up his Bachelor of Science in Biology from UP Diliman and took his Doctor of Medicine from UP Manila and also his Master's from the same university. Ladies and gentlemen, sa mga nakikinig po ngayong hapon, let's all welcome Dr. Paul Michael Hernandez, our speaker for this afternoon. Good afternoon, Doc.
Good afternoon, Dr. Felix. Good afternoon, everyone, and salamat po sa pag-imbita po sa aming opisina po. So ako po ay taga-Department of Environmental and Occupational Health. Kung tama pong pagkakatanda ko, 3 out of the 4 webinars for this month of October are under our department. So salamat po sa pag-imbita. At ako po ay naatasang mag-discuss ng medyo bago pa po na topic. No? Yung policy, kakalabas lang nitong taon, pero yung toolkits parang hindi ko pa nakikita. Parang hindi ko pa po nakikita. So, introduce ko po sa ating mga viewers, sa ating mga attendees ngayong hapon ang healthy workplace concept. So, allow me to share my screen. So ulitin ko po, ako po si PM Hernandez, Associate Professor, Department of Environmental and Occupational Health. At currently po ako rin, sabi po ni Doc Felix, ako po ang Chair ng UP Manila Health and Safety Committee at Director ng Health University Office ng UP Manila. So ako po ay taga-College of Public Health, nabanggit din ni Doc Felix kanina. Isa po ako sa mga faculty na nag-o-offer ng Master of Occupational Health. At yung department po namin, nag-offer din po kami ng Master of Science in Public Health, Environmental Health. So kung gusto niyo pong mag-Masters Occupational Health, huwag po kayo mahiyang reach out po sa amin. Gusto ko lang po i-emphasize, no, regarding the materials that I will be using for this afternoon session, hindi po kayo allowed na gamitin sa ibang paraan yung aking mga materials, pero meron naman pong references sa dulo. Yung mga references na po ito ang pinagbasehan ko po ng aking presentation sana yung ating mga participants kaya na nilang ipaliwanag kung bakit kailangan nating magkaroon ng healthy workplaces. Ikwento, ilarawan ang mga key elements ng healthy workplace para kung gusto nyo mang maging healthy workplace ang inyong mga lugar na pinagtatrabahuhan, pwede nyo gawin, at identify stakeholder roles. So, syempre, meron tayong major stakeholders, kasama dito ang management at syempre ang ating mga empleyado pagdating sa pagkakaroon at pag-maintain na ng ating mga healthy workplaces. So ito po ang maging outline ng presentation ko ngayong hapon. So why promote healthy workplaces? What is a healthy workplace and how can we be part of a healthy workplace? So first part na po tayo. Why promote healthy workplaces? Ano pong pinagbabasihan natin dito? Siyempre, babalikan natin yung definition ng occupational health. Sabi ng Joint ILO-WHO Committee on Occupational Health as published in 1950 and revised in 1995. So, meron tayong 4 na aims ng occupational health. Meron tayong health promotion and maintenance, prevention of injuries and diseases, so maiwasan ang pagkakasakit, pinsala sa mga empleyado, protection of workers in their employment from risks resulting from factors adverse to health. So, poprotektahan ang ating mga empleyado, lalo na sa mga hazards, tinatawag natin, maaaring magdulot ng sakit o pinsala sa mga empleyado. And placing and maintenance of the worker in an occupational environment adapted to his physiological and psychological capabilities. Okay, so, dapat ang mga empleyado natin, nandun sila sa lugar na pinagtatrabahuhan nila na kung saan adjusted ang kanilang trabaho pagdating sa kanilang kalusugan. So yan ang basis natin. Ito ang aims ng occupational health. At pagdating naman sa policy basis, pinakwento ko po kanina mula sa Department of Health. So figure 1 presents the health sector strategy for 2023 to 2028. So pinablish po ito ng Department of Health ng 2022. So ano bang gusto ng Department of Health? Ang gusto ng Department of Health, syempre, maski tayo gusto natin ito, no? Gusto natin na tayo at ang mga kababayan natin ay maging mas malusog. So paano natin ito makakamit? So we need better equitable health outcomes. So patas na health outcomes, responsive health system, so kahit ano man na maging kalamidad, problema dito sa bansa, ang health system natin kayang-kayang at tugunan ng ating pangangailangang pangkalusugan. At panghuli, improved financial risk protection. Pagdating naman po dito, dapat ang mga Pilipino tayo, hindi natin kailangang maglabas ng malaking halaga para lang mapagamot, para lang mabigyang lunas ang ating nararamdaman, o maski man lang para magpatingin. So pwede sa annual physical examination. Halimbawa, hindi dapat natin kailangan gumastos ng malaki. So yan ang gustong ma-achieve, gustong ma-achieve ng Department of Health, at syempre gusto natin yun. At ang Department of Health, ito ang gusto nilang strategic thrust. So enable to be healthy. So ang mga Pilipino kayang maging malusog. Protektahan lang tayo, mga Pilipino, from health risks. So mga kahit anong maaaring magdulot ng sakit o pinsala sa atin. Okay, pag-aruga, care, so for health and wellness, so kalusugan at kagalingan. At syempre sa ilalim nito, sa tatlo, palakasin ang ating mga health institutions, ang ating health workforce. At sa ilalim ng health sector strategy for 2023 to 2028, kasama po dito ang Healthy Settings Program. So sa ilalim ng Enable to be Healthy, meron po tayong tinatawag na Strategic Objective 1.2. So communities, workplaces, and schools are supportive of healthy behaviors. So hinighlight ko po. So lahat ng lugar na pinagtatrabahuhan dapat supportive of healthy behaviors. Ibig sabihin dito, ang mga empleyado kaya nilang maging malusog. Ang mga empleyado kaya nilang gawin yung mga activities kung saan nagpapabuti sa kanilang kalusugan. At isa sa strategic interventions ay i-implement ang Healthy Settings Program. So may healthy communities, healthy workplaces, and healthy schools. Ngayong hapon, magpo-focus po tayo sa healthy workplaces. So yun na po yung policy basis natin. Bakit natin kailangan magkaroon ng healthy workplace program sa ating mga institutions. So ano po ba yung sabihin ng healthy workplace? So baka nagkaroon na po kayo ng idea habang binabanggit ko po yung policy basis. Balikan lang po natin muna, no? Pag sinabi nating health or kalusugan, this is a complete state or a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. At hindi lamang dahil walang sakit ang isang individual. So physical health, mental, so kaisipan, social well-being, so ating mga relasyon at pakikipag-ugnayan sa ibang mga tao. So tayo ba ay mayroong state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being? Actually, medyo mahirap yun. No? So, pero maganda naman po itong target o goal para sa ating lahat. At pagdating naman sa healthy workplaces, ito ay lugar ng pinagtatrabahuhan na kung saan yung mga empleyado at yung mga managers ay nakikipagtulungan, nakikipag-ugnayan, nakikipag-collaborate para protektahan ang kalusugan at kaligtasan ng mga empleyado at overall na well-being at syempre promote pareho din po kalusugan, kaligtasan at kagalingan ng lahat ng empleyado at siguraduhin na sustainable po ang mga interventions base sa mga pangailangan ng kumpanya. Yan po ang tinatawag natin healthy workplace. So sa ngayon po ba mukha bang healthy, magtatrabaho na po ba kayo sa isang healthy workplace? Malamang po, meron naman po na kayong mga programa o activities na related sa pagiging healthy workplace ng inyong institution. Pero ngayong hapon, bubuuin po natin yun. Ano ba talaga dapat ang nilalaman ng isang healthy workplace program? So, meron pong joint admin order ang Department of Health, Department of Labor and Employment at Civil Service Commission. So, JAO 2023-001 at inililista po dito ang priority areas of healthy workplaces. Ano po ba dapat ang nilalaman? Ano dapat yung mga interventions? So, meron pong 7. Ang una po ay diet and physical activity. Siyempre, kung gusto nating maging malusog ang mga empleyado, kung gusto nating maging malusog tayo, dapat meron tayong healthy diet. So tamang pagkain at syempre physical activity, kasama na po dito ang exercise. So mag-reflect na po kayo. Meron po bang ganyang intervention sa inyong kumpanya? Malamang po meron. Number 2, environmental health. Ano pong kasama dito? Syempre, sustainable lifestyle. So kasama po dito yung mga halimbawa, yung tamang pagtatapon ng basura, tamang pag-segregate, kung pwede bang mag-reduce ng basura, o kaya naman mag-reuse ng pwede pang gamitin. Yan, kasama po yan sa environmental health. Kasama din po dito ang disaster risk reduction and management. Ano ba kadalasang kasama sa DRM? So, yung pagsali natin sa mga drills, meron po tayong regular na shake drill, earthquake drill, at meron din po tayong mga regular na fire drill sa inyong mga companies, sa inyong mga kumpanya. Yan. So kasama po yan ang environmental health. So meron po ba kayo nun sa inyong mga kumpanya? Malamang meron. Requirement po yan. Pangatlo naman po ay immunization. So pag sinabi natin immunization, mga bakuna. So marami, nitong pandemic syempre, di ba, lahat ng kailangan ng bakuna para sa laban sa COVID-19. At maliban doon, marami rin po na iba pa. So halimbawa ngayon na maulan, tag-ulan ngayon. So malamang mayroong mga nangangailangan na bakuna laban sa trangkaso. So bahagi yan. At iba pa po, depende pa po kung ano yung mga pangangailangan ng mga empleyado sa inyong kumpanya. So sunod naman po ay substance abuse. Ano naman ang substance abuse? Siyempre kasama dyan yung alak, sigarilyo, at maging yung mga pinagbabawal na gamot. Siyempre, bawal yan. Bawal yan at dapat tulungan natin ang ating mga kasama sa trabaho na itigil ang mga ganong gawain. Panglima po ay mental health. Pag sinabi nating mental health, hindi lamang ito Hindi lamang dito kasama yung mga sakit sa pag-iisip, kundi kung paano ma-manage ang stress. Yan. Lalo na nung ng pandemic, di ba? Stressful na yung trabaho bago mag-pandemic. Lalo pang naging stressful nung nag-pandemic dahil bawal lumabas, remote work setup, yung iba. Ayan. So, ngayon na pabalik na tayo, unti-unti na natin napapabuti ang ating mental health. So, nakakapag-interact na tayo, nakikipagkisalamuhan na tayo sa ibang tao, sa ating mga kasama sa opisina, sa kumpanya, maging ang ating mga kaibigan at kamag-anak. Pang-anim po ay yung tinatawag nating sexual and reproductive health. Ano po bang kasama dito? Halimbawa na lang yung mga hindi inaasahang pagbubuntis. Isa yan sa dapat i-address. Tsaka yung mga sakit na nakukuha sa pakikipagtalik, mga sexually transmitted infection. Meron po ba kayong interventions, programa, or activity patungkol sa sexual and reproductive health? Malamang po, meron po mga ilan-ilan na mga activities. At panghuli po, violence and injury prevention. So pagdating naman sa violence, syempre interpersonal violence. Pwede rin kasama dyan yung bullying. Diba? Kasama din dito yung mga gender-related violence. At pagdating naman sa injury prevention, syempre yung ating workplace safety program. So ito po ang 7 o 7 priority areas of healthy workplaces. So mukha po bang meron po kayo ng 7? Malamang sa hindi po, meron po kayong mga ilang-ilang activities na mag-cover po ng 7. So alam na natin kung ano dapat yung ilalaman. Ngayon, paano natin ihahanda o paano natin buuin yung programa? Meron po tayong tinatawag na Ottawa Charter for Health Promotion at meron din po tayong World Health Organization Healthy Workplace Model. At itong dalawang references, meron po silang nilistang action areas of healthy workplaces. Paano ba magiging healthy ang ating kumpanya, ang ating lugar kung saan tayo nagtatrabaho? Una ay developing healthy public policies. May sabihin nito, syempre, pag sinabi natin health public policies, ito yung mga polisiya kung saan nagpo-promote ng kalusugan ng mga empleyado. So nagtataguyod ng overall health and well-being. Basic naman sa atin, di ba? Dapat lahat ng kumpanya merong health and safety policy. At pero syempre maliban doon, meron pa tayong mas specific na policies, no? Addressing specific concerns. So kung babalikan po natin yung priority areas, so ideally, meron po tayong policy na naglilista sa 7 ito. Yung iba naman po pwedeng i-grupo. Pwedeng kunwari sa 7 ito, pwedeng 3 lang o 4, pero ang coverage po nila, ang coverage po ng 3 hanggang 4 na polisiya ay itong 7 priority areas. So halimbawa sa diet, di ba? Kung sa diet, dapat meron tayong policy basis kung bakit kailangan magkaroon ng healthy diet ang mga empleyado. Susunod naman po ay creating supportive environment. So halimbawa, sa healthy diet, sabihin na yung kumpanya ay nagpo-promote ng healthy diet sa mga empleyado. Pwede naman yon. So yun yung public policy. Ang susunod naman ay paano natin matutulungan ng mga empleyado na magkaroon nga ng healthy diet, na kumain ng masustansya. So doon pumapasok creating supportive environments. So kung meron kayong, halimbawa sa cafeteria, sa canteen, o kung saan man kumakain ng mga empleyado, dapat merong binibentang pagkain na masustansya. Doon, isa yun ang halimbawa sa supportive environments na tinatawag. Diba? Alam ng mga empleyado na kailangan nila. Okay? Kasi nakalagay sa pulisiya. Pero dapat ang kumpanya handa na tulungan ang mga empleyado na magawa yung gusto nating gawin. Okay? So creating supportive environments. Pangatlo ay developing personal skills. Siyempre, sasabihin natin kailangan. Requirement nakalagay sa pulisiya. Okay? Dapat ang kantin ay nagbebenta ng masustansyang pagkain. Siyempre, hindi naman kailangan masustansya lahat. Okay, so at least may healthy food choices. Ang pangatlo naman ay, siyempre dapat matuto sila kung paano. Okay? Pagdating naman sa pagkain, ano kayang dapat nilang matutunan? Kung gusto nila, sige, mag-calorie count sila. Bilangin yung calories mo ng kanilang pagkain. O kung paano man lang maghanda ng pagkain, di ba? May mga empleyado na hindi kayang bumili o mas gusto nilang nagbabaon. So pagdating sa personal skills, pwede nating ituro kung paano maghanda ng masustansyang pagkain, paano maghanda ng meal plan para sa buong linggo, maski sa buong buwan, kung kaya nila, no? Kung kaya ng mga empleyado. So, bahagi ito ng action areas, developing personal skills. Pang-apat naman ay strengthening community action. Ito, labas na ito, no? So, ito ay, syempre, community action. Ang community natin ay yung nasa kumpanya, mga empleyado. Pero, this one goes beyond the company. Mas masaya, nagiging mas malusog, nagiging mas malusog ang mga empleyado kung ang mga empleyado ay may pagkakataong makisalamuha din doon sa komunidad kung saan sila malapit. Halimbawa na lang, may community na malapit sa institution, so pwede sila makipag-interact doon. Pwede mag-volunteer, pwedeng sumali sa mga activities ng barangay, ng barangay, ng syudad o kung ano man, o pwede rin ng probinsya. At kasi iba rin ang dating kapag yung mga empleyado nakakatulong sa komunidad o nagiging partner ng komunidad pagdating sa kalusugan, sa kaligtasan, o kung sa ano pa mang magandang hangarin. At panglima, reorienting health services. Ano pong ibig sabihin ito? So pagdating sa healthy workplaces po, remember po, so mas gusto natin ng health promotion. So ang health services po natin dapat hindi focus sa pagbibigay ng lunas, hindi focus sa gamot, hindi focus sa pag-oopera, ganyan. Ang gusto natin dapat kung tayo mas maraming programa pagdating sa health promotion. Okay. So ano yung mga halimbawa ng programa sa health promotion? Yon, healthy diet, physical activity, exercise, smoking cessation. Hindi tayo dun sa medyo huli na kapag nandun na tayo sa sitwasyon na may sakit na yung mga empleyado. Ang gusto natin, hindi sila magkasakit. Ang gusto natin, itong mga empleyado ay manatiling malusog. Okay, so, proper nutrition, proper sexual health activities, etc. po. So that's reorienting health services. Hindi tayo dun sa pagbibigay ng lunas. Doon tayo sa prevention and health promotion. Alam na natin kung anong dapat laman, ano yung content, ano yung topics. Alam na po natin kung ano dapat yung components. Dapat ang laman. And then, sa healthy workplace concept po, meron naman pong tinatawag na 4 focus areas. So saan natin gagawin? So alam natin na meron tayo on diet, on health, physical activity, sexual and reproductive health, maternal health. Ayan. Alam natin na kailangan ng polisiya, supportive environment, dapat may training education, community action, tsaka i-reorient yung health services. Pero ano yung magiging focus natin? Dito po pumapasok yung 4 focus areas. The first one is physical work environment. Okay, so we should address health and safety concerns in the physical environment, and yung pangalawa, in the psychosocial work environment. So physical environment, psychosocial work environment, and then the third one is personal health resources in the workplace. So ano po yung personal health resources? I-discuss ko po mamaya-maya, no? So personal health resources, ito yung kung ano yung pwedeng pagkunan ng impormasyon ng mga empleyado. Kadalasan yun po yung focus ito. And pang-apat ay opportunities for community participation. Paano mag-volunteer, paano tumulong sa community. Yan yung mga focus areas. Yung mga CSRs, yan, opportunities for community participation. Isa-isahin po natin itong 4 at kung ano dapat yung ano yung mga halimbawa ng mga activities under each of the 4 focus areas. At but before we proceed, let's just focus on these 4 focus areas contributing to the healthy workplace. So figure 1 presents the WHO Healthy Workplace Model as published in 2010. Okay, so nandito po yung 4 focus areas at mamaya po pag-uusapan po natin yung nasa gitna. Okay, so among the 4 po, meron po yung intersection. So meron common itong darker blue. Yan, at meron din po sa gitna na common. So let's go through each of the 4 focus areas. The first one is the physical work environment. So halimbawa dito, ayan. So, ano siya, medyo maganda yung opisina nito. Medyo madilim lang. Pero yan. Ano, may alaman pa. Well lighted. Yan. Mukhang okay naman yung workstation, hindi masikip. Okay, focus natin. Para so meron pa dito mga provisions. Yan. So mukhang ergonomic naman yung chair. Etc. Malinis. Yan. Maaliwalas. So these are concerns in the physical environment, no? So physical hazards, chemical hazards, biological hazards, and safety hazards, unsafe acts, and unsafe conditions. So for workplaces, sa mga kumpanya, kailangan magkaroon ng hazard identification, risk assessment, and control activities. So high-rank activities. Okay, mag-identify ng hazards, mag-assess ng risk, at syempre, mag-institute ng control measures para sa kumpanya. Para hindi magkasakit at hindi ma-injure ang mga empleyado. Physical work. Sa pangalawa po, so maliban sa physical, meron po tayo psychosocial work environment. So dito pumapasok yung mga organizational culture and attitudes, values, beliefs, and daily practices. So kung sa health and safety policy ng kumpanya, syempre nandun yung ultimate manifestation ng commitment ng kumpanya pagdating sa health and safety. So the company is committed to the health and safety of its employees. So that's contributory to this achievement, no? So para magkaroon ng magandang psychosocial work environment. So this just one area pwedeng activities to lessen the impact of psychosocial stressors among employees. So paano ba mabababa ang stress level ng mga empleyado? Well, una, job demands or work demands. Siyempre, yung tama lang sa ng work demands. Although may mga pagkakataon naman talaga na may urgent, na may kailangan tapusin ngayong araw o mamayang gabi. Minsan pa kailangan mag-overtime, ganyan. So addressing job demands. And gusto ko mag-focus sa isa pa, peer support or social support. So importanteng magkaroon ng social support activities para sa kumpanya. Magkaroon man lang ng buddy system, kamustahan. Activities outside na hindi pag-uusapan yung trabaho. Yan. Maski yung mga interactions during breaks, yan. Isa yan sa mga interventions para mapababa yung stress level ng ating mga empleyado. So, ang pangatlo naman po ay personal health resources at work. Actually, nung naghanap po ako ng picture, hindi ko maisip po. Hindi ako makapili. Ang tagal ko bago nakapili ng picture. Ano kaya ang gusto nyo ipahiwatig dito? Okay. Baka matawa kayo. Ang gusto ko lang sabihin dito ay may magandang hagdan. Hindi yung tao dito, no? So kasama yan sa personal health resources at work. So these include health services, dapat pre-employment, physical, pre-employment, annual, kung kaya mo may transfer, special, tsaka exit examinations, health services na yan. Tapos regular consults, or basta nagtatanong lang ng medical advice. So syempre available naman yun sa ating mga kumpanya. So resources and opportunities for employees to improve and maintain healthy lifestyle. So yan, yung stairs, yung hagdan. So healthy lifestyle choices must be promoted. So may mga ibang kumpanya, di ba? Sabihin na imbes na mag-elevator ka, kung 1 or 2 flights lang ng 1 or 2 levels lang, pwede namang gumamit na lang ng hagdan. And as shared earlier, dapat may health information at health services na available para sa mga empleyado. Hindi naman kailangan na ang kumpanya ang magsabi o magbigay ng health information. Mas okay na i-empower natin ang ating mga empleyado. So, pwede tayong magbigay ng references. Pwede nating ituro kung kung anong Facebook page ba ang dapat nila i-follow o anumang website ang dapat nilang puntahan. Kung gusto naman nating magkaroon ng kung gusto nating matulungan ang ating mga empleyado pagdating sa kalusugan, kaligtasan at pangkalahatang kagalingan. At ang pang-apat po, enterprise community involvement. So, this refers to activities in which an enterprise might engage or provide expertise and resources to support well-being of the community. So, ito, a community CSR activities. Halimbawa nito, so meron silang kino-construct. So, that's part of enterprise community involvement. So, pwede namang ganito na service, magtayo ng isang bahay, siguro pwede. Ayan. O kahit naman magkaroon ng pagkakataon mga empleyado na magbigay ng expertise. So, kung ang kumpanya na yon, for halimbawa ay, kung namin sa amin, sa university, diba? So, meron kaming mga faculty, meron kaming mga research staff, meron ating staff. Pwede kaming mag-provide ng expertise. Kagaya nito, this is part actually of a community involvement. So, hindi lang kami limitado sa universidad, pero meron pa po kaming mga ibang gawain kung saan sana ay nakakatulong kami sa aming mga community. So, kasama dito yung factors affecting health, safety, and well-being of workers and even of the family, of their respective families. So, kung meron po tayong programa, halimbawa, yun, sa COVID-19, di ba? COVID-19 vaccination. So, yung ibang kumpanya, matapos na mabigyan ng bakuna yung mga empleyado, yung benefit o yung pribilehiyo na mabakunahan din, ine-extend pa dun sa mga kasama sa bahay. So, yun po yung 4 na focus areas. So, physical work environment, psychosocial work environment, meron tayong personal health resources, at ang panghuli, enterprise community involvement. So, focusing naman po dun sa nasa gitna, no? So, syempre, lahat naman ng gawain sa kumpanya, guided ng kanya-kanyang ethics at values. Ito yung pinakaloob, ito yung nasa core natin. So, ethics and values, at syempre dapat may engagement with top management at kasama yung mga empleyado. Hindi pwedeng ang empleyado ay iniimbitahan lang kapag may activity na. Iniimbitahan lang kapag may event na. Mas okay sana kung may employee representative kapag nagpaplano pa lamang ng mga healthy workplace program sa kanya-kanyang mga institution. Okay po. At syempre, meron po tayong cycle. So, of course, ma-start po tayo ng plan. Yan. Plan, do, evaluate, improve, mobilize, assemble, assess, and then prioritize again. So, bago po tayo magplano, importante muna mag-assess dun sa current situation na sa kumpanya, anong meron at wala. Tapos, alamin ko anong dapat unahin, tsaka magplano, gagawin yung activities, tapos tignan, ano bang pwedeng, ano yung mga lessons learned, ano yung pwedeng gawin ulit, ano yung pwedeng itigil gawin para ma-improve ang mga interventions, mga programa, mga activities, tapos ulit, mobilize, and then assemble, and then balik po ulit tayo. So cyclical po siya. So para lang din po siya in the other program, pwedeng plan, do, check, assess na cycle. Plan, do, check, act pala. Apologies for that. So ano naman po yung tips natin, no? So just to summarize, it's important to engage company management in coming up with healthy workplaces, and these programs should be based on the core values of the company. So para aligned, para madaling mas mabilis na i-approve ng management, mas mabilis sa pondohan. Involve workers and their representatives. So planning pa lang, maski assessing pa lang ng workplace, no, ng institution. So situational analysis pa lang, kasama na yung workers, maski yung mga representatives nila. Hanggang maplano, ma-implement, at ma-evaluate yung program. We need to perform an extensive assessment of the current situation in the company. Anong meron at wala? Anong gagamitin natin para malaman kung kulang o sobra? Siyempre, meron po tayong existing policy frameworks. Nandiyan ang ating OSH standards, nandiyan ang DOLE DO 198-18, IRR ng Sanitation Code of the Philippines, at kung ano-ano po pong mga policies relevant to the situation in the company. Kung hindi naman kaya, huwag mahihiyang mag-reach out sa experts. Okay, pwedeng subject experts, pwede rin naman sa institution, pwede naman mag-reach out po sa DOLE, pwede mag-reach out sa specific bureau ng DOLE or office ng DOLE, pwede rin po mag-reach out sa local government unit. Okay, so lahat naman po ay may taya, lahat naman po ay stakeholder. So ang LGU naman, meron din naman silang mga resources. Pwedeng experts in the field or other aspects po. At panghuli, integrate initiatives in the strategic plan. So kung okay naman at gumagana siya, pwede na siyang isama sa strategic plan ng kumpanya para annually po siyang i-implement. So these are some pointers on how to establish healthy workplaces. So pupunta na po tayo sa last part, no? How can we be part of a healthy workplace? So when I was preparing for this presentation, medyo hindi mahirap mag-discuss nung 7. So pumili na lang po ako ng isa, at ang isang ito ay on promoting physical activity in the workplace. So this is based on a publication by Milton and colleagues in 2021. So what are the interventions? So meron po tayong management roles. Ano dapat ginagawa ng mga employers? Number 1, redesign the workplace to promote physical activities. So stairs, may reminders, posters. Okay? Pa nga, isang intervention, ilayo ang water dispenser. Kasi kapag malapit yung water dispenser, konting physical activity lang. So medyo ilayo. Siyempre may may rules naman tayo dapat kalayo. Baka naman sa susunod, sa kabilang building pa yung inuming tubig, hindi na po pwede yun. So those are examples of how management can redesign their workplaces to promote Pangalawa, support active commuting. Ano pa ang sinasabi nating active commuting? Siyempre, mas maganda maglakad. Kayang maglakad ng empleyado. Kung di medyo malayo, magbisikleta. Okay. Kung di naman pwede magbisikleta, okay. Kung kung kaya naman na wag na mag-taxi o wag mag-ride-hailing apps, mas maganda. So that's part of active commuting. So kung bisikleta, syempre dapat merong specific parking area para sa mga bisikleta. Hindi pwede na tandaan nyo po yung support. So sinasabi na dapat magbisikleta pero wala namang parking space para sa bisikleta. So bahagi yun ng creating a supportive environment. Pangatlo po ay host educational events. Dito po yung training education. So remember developing personal skills. Hosting educational events regularly in your workplace. Encourage active working culture. Hindi ko po alam kung meron po sa inyo naka-attend na ng walking meetings. Paano yung walking meetings? Kasi naglalakad. Naglalakad. Pero mas madalas ko pong na-encounter yung standing meetings, nakatayo. So which actually promotes their health and well-being kapag nakatayo. Ano mo bang kinaganda kapag nakatayo kapag meeting? Siyempre, hindi sedentary, pwede kang mag-stretch-stretch habang nag-meeting, galaw-galaw ang mga kalamnan. Tsaka napansin ko rin mas maiksi ang meeting kapag standing meetings. Diba? Hindi ko alam kung meron po kayong mga meron din kayo nasalihan ng matagal na sobrang tagal ng meeting. Pag standing meeting yan, iksi po yan. So that's part of encouraging active working culture. Yan, using the stairs instead of taking the elevator, among others. Ito medyo mahirap po ito, no? Pero this is one of the interventions recommended. Provide paid time and or flexible time for physical activity. Kung paid time, baka nga mahirap, no? Yung flexible time, pwede rin siguro. So, kung ang empleyado ay, halimbawa, ay mag-gym. So, kung may policy naman na or may provisions na, sige, kung gusto ng empleyado na 9 to 6 na lang siya, imbes na 8 to 5, para yung 7 to 9 niya ay pwede siyang mag-gym na malapit. So, flexible time. Yung paid time, ito medyo challenging po yan. No? So, it depends on the commitment of the company. There are, of course, challenges on how to demonstrate productivity or how to balance productivity with well-being. Well, may mga pag-aaral naman po na syempre, mas maganda po yung kalagayan ng mga empleyado, mas mataas ang productivity nila. Pero syempre, kailangan din yung i-demonstrate sa management. Specific na evidence sa management. So yung providing paid time, kailangan pa yung explore. But I think there are also companies who do that. Okay? So paid time yung mag-exercise. Paid time yung mag-physical activity. O pwede rin naman, halimbawa, for example, may sports fest, may tournaments sa company, kasama yon sa official time ng empleyado. Yan, that's providing paid time. And panghuli po, encouraging self-monitoring of employees. Paano po yung self-monitoring? So, halimbawa, yung mga smartwatches na nagmo-monitor ng steps. Ayan, so bahagi yan po yan ng self-monitoring. Siyempre, ang nakalagay lang po encourage. Wala pong sinabi na bilhan ng empleyado ng ganito. No? So, pwede po yan. Iba naman po, meron pong apps sa phone. Yun din, magbibilang din po ng steps. So, that's part of encouraging self-monitoring of employees. Kung paano natin kasi kapag nag-monitor yung mga empleyado, mas nagiging conscious sila. Nalalaman nila kung halimbawa kung ilang steps lang sila ngayong, kunwari, pahapon na, tinignan nila ilang steps pa lang ang nagagawa nila sa maghapon. So, parang nagiging trigger siya para mas maging active, mas maging physically active sa workplace. So, sunod naman po ay worker roles. So, meron po tayong roles ng management, meron naman din pong roles ng mga empleyado. So participate in active commuting. Siyempre, attend educational events. Assimilate active working culture. So, kagaya ng walking meetings or standing meetings. And lastly, self-monitor physical activity. So, naman po, na-discuss naman po natin kanina yung management roles. So, similar naman din po. May corresponding worker roles po based on what is expected of management. At ang pinakahuli, gusto ko lang po i-emphasize, DOLE DO 198-18. So these are the responsibilities of employees in general, okay, based on the implementing rules and regulations of the OSH Law of 2018. So participate in capacity building activities on OSH, properly use of all safeguards and safety devices sa physical environment, complying with instructions still on physical environment, observe prescribed steps to be taken in cases of emergency, so protection of employees, and reporting any work hazard that may be discovered in the workplace. So these are the 5 worker responsibilities. Just to reiterate lang po, no? As listed or presented yung DOLE DO 198-18. So I believe I have concluded my discussion. So since meron naman po dito sa nasa live po tayo sa Facebook. So can you identify any major learnings po sa ating discussion ngayon at kung paano niyo siya i-apply sa inyong respective workplaces? So, babasahin ko po yan mamaya po kapag pwede na po ako mag-focus sa Facebook. So I do hope all of the participants learned at least a thing or two on healthy workplaces. Yung sinasabi pong toolkit, eventually po lalabas po siya. But for the meantime, ang ginamit ko pong reference ay yung available information. So I do hope that the participants were able to explain the need for healthy workplaces. Kailangan natin magkaroon ng healthy workplaces kasi gusto natin maging malusog tayong lahat. Pangalawa, isa yan sa strategies ng Department of Health. Pangatlo, describe the key elements of a healthy workplace. So remember yung 7 na priority areas, 4 na focus areas, at 5 action areas. At panghuli, identify stakeholder roles in a healthy workplace. So meron po tayong manager roles at meron din po tayong roles among the employees. So with that po, so these are the references that I use for my presentation this afternoon. So thank you very much. This has been Doc PM Hernandez of the College of Public Health, Department of Environmental and Occupational Health. So that's my email address should you have any specific queries or concerns, and I'll try to address those kung kayang-kaya naman pong sagutin. Maraming pong salamat, and back to you, Dr.
Thank you very much, Doc PM. Ang ganda ng ating discussion. So ito po ay parang overview ng lahat ng may kinalaman sa workplace or sa ating pong paggawa. So may flash po kami, Doc, merong PNM sa amin na question. PNM na nag-direct message po sa amin na question. Can we flash the questions? Okay, so ito po yung ating pong pumasok na question po for you. So ang ating pong first question ay, ang healthy workplace po ba ay sakop ang mga maliliit na tindahan? So siguro ito yung mga bakery, yung mga salon, mga sari-sari store. Sakop po ba kaya sila, Doc PM?
Thank you, Doc Felix. So buti na lang naka-attend ako nung NOSH Congress kasi may taga-DOH na nag-present mo ng healthy workplace. So eventually po magiging sakop po siya. So itong initiative po kasi ng Department of Health, nag-pilot po sila sa mga mas malalaking kumpanya muna, tapos inuunti-unti po ito. So eventually po, maski po sa mga maliliit na tindahan. Tandaan nyo rin po, meron tayong healthy workplace, may healthy schools, may healthy communities. So kahit hindi pa po kayo nararating ng healthy workplace initiative, baka po yung inyong communities, inyong respective LGUs, meron na rin pong mga programs and activities in relation to healthy workplaces.
Ay, thank you very much, Doc PM. So, sakop, meron pala kahit maliliit na tindahan. Pangalawang question po, paano po kung wala kaming alam tungkol sa pag-promote ng healthy workplace and saan pwedeng lumapit? I guess, technical assistance.
Okay. So, regarding technical assistance, ang pinakamadali, sinong tuturo ko, Doc?
Depende sa inyo, Doc, saan niyo po gusto ito.
Well, technically po, ang healthy workplace ay, ang healthy workplace po ay initiative ng DOLE, Civil Service Commission, tsaka DOH. So, depende po kung ano po klase kayo ng enterprise. Kung kayo po ba ay private sector, kayo po ay government, or kayo po ay healthcare workers, or informal
facilities. Yes.
So, ayun po ang sagot. So, buti na lang.
Ayan, sige. So, sa DOLE naman po, in terms of DOLE, kapag kayo ay lalapit sa DOLE, kailangan nyo na parang technical assistance. Nandyan po ang ating mga regional offices. Kung kayo po ay nasa iba-ibang panig ng bansa, lapit lang po sa regional office. Pwede rin pong sumulat directly sa Bureau of Working Conditions, so bwc@dole.gov.ph. Pwede rin po yung binigay ni Doc PM na na email address kung meron po kayong meron po kayong mga questions or query, baka po tayo ay matulungan ng UP College of Public Health. Pero tandaan po natin, ang kanilang tulong ay matutulungan kayo. Pero kung walang-wala po kayong training, medyo mahirap po yung pag-uusap kasi medyo may mga terms po na kailangan yung matutunan, kumbaga. So, meron pa po bang pumasok? Ayan. So, sabi ng ating team, Doc, wala na daw pong pumasok na additional question. Meron na po ba kayong mabibigay sa amin na parting words para tumanim sa kanila ang tungkol sa ang konsepto ng healthy workplace?
Thank you, Doc Felix. No? So pagdating naman po sa healthy workplace, actually kahit anong programa patungkol sa health and safety, importante po talaga na makipagtulungan ang management, ang mga empleyado at pati yung regulatory agency natin. So DOLE man yan, DOH o Civil Service Commission. Pagdating naman po sa pag-assess ng kumpanya, yun, dapat management employees kagad. Hindi pwede na later on pa engage ang management. Kung meron naman po kayo existing OSH committee, okay na po yun kasi may management tsaka employee representatives. Una, yun. Pangalawa siguro, pahabol na nga lang din, no? Huwag masyadong ma-pressure. Unti-untiin, di ba? Kasama po dun sa cycle na binanggit ko, no? Prioritize. Ano ba dapat ang kailangang unahin ng inyong kumpanya, ng inyong institusyon, o maski yung mga maliliit lang na enterprises. Ano ba yung tingin yung pinaka-importante? At yun po yung una nyo munang i-address. Tapos habang tumatagal, masasanay po kayo, dahil lalaki po na po itong mga focus areas niyo po, kung ano yung mga mag-expand po ang inyong programa patungkol sa healthy workplaces. At ayun, eventually po, mas magiging masaya magtrabaho sa ating mga kumpanya. Back to you, Doc.
Thank you very much, Doc PM. So ayun po yung ating pong mga konsepto na kailangan matutunan. Pero ito po ay panimula pa lamang sa ating pong buwan ng Oktubre. Kapag kayo po ay patuloy na uma-attend sa ating pong webinar Wednesday, syempre every Wednesday po ito ng 2:00 ng hapon, yung mga konsepto po na binanggit ni Doc PM na regarding sa healthy workplace, kung paano ito mapropromote, kung ano nga ba ang mga programa na kailangan, ito po ay inyo pong makukuha or madidiscuss po natin sa ating pong webinar Wednesday. So ang schedule po ng ating pong mga topics for discussion ay nasa Facebook page po ng Bureau of Working Conditions. Yung mga past po o yung mga nakalipas po natin na webinar episodes, kung hindi nyo po ito nakita, mag-scroll down lang po para makita ninyo ang mga past episodes natin at ito po yung inyong ma-view para ito po ay makuha nyo rin po yung mga konsepto nyo gusto nyong malaman. Ano po? Marami rin po, Doc PM, na nagtatanong, ito po ba ay may CPD? Sabi ko, hindi po kami CPD provider, kami po ay knowledge provider. Opo. Kasi po kailangan nating ma-impart sa inyo paano nga po ba ang mga dapat ninyong malaman or paano nyo gagawin ang pagpapatupad ng occupational safety and health and general labor standards sa inyo pong mga workplaces. So dito po meron kayong ready reference mula po sa ating pong mga experts katulad po ng mga kasamahan po natin galing sa College of Public Health. Okay, so wala na po akong nakikitang further questions. So Doc PM, in behalf of the Bureau of Working Conditions, we thank you for providing us this afternoon's subject matter expert for this afternoon. Thank you, Doc.
Salamat din po sa pag-invite. Stay safe.
Bye to everyone.
Bye everyone.
Para sa katanungan at karagdagang impormasyon, maaari po tayong tumawag sa DOLE Hotline 1349 o sumangguni sa mga DOLE Regional o Field Office na nakakasakop sa inyong lugar paggawa.